Welcome to the Harjit and Prayer Show with your host, Harjit and Prayer.
What's up, Harjit?
Hey, Prayer, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What is this?
Welcome to the Harjit and Prayer Show.
That's right, episode number
Two.
2.
I'm Harjit,
I'm Prayer.
and so what's up, man? How you been doing?
I'm
How's your
tired,
week?
man. I don't know if you all know, but I had twins in January.
Oh,
Well, my wife gave birth to twins in January, and they started teething, and it's been a bit intense, but we know it's going
oh
to get
my
better.
God, I remember those days, man. Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
so,
envy you, my friend.
yes. So, actually, we were supposed to put this out today. And meeting Friday earlier today, but we couldn't do it because I was holding babies last night. We couldn't record it.
Yeah, and you know
So
what? You wanted babies.
that's right.
It's all on you, my
I
friend.
know.
Yeah.
I found out that we were having babies at Ignite last year in Chicago.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
That was
did. I remember that. You gave us
it
the
was
announcement when
it
we
was
were
pretty cool.
outside.
So,
Yeah.
all
So
right.
what are we
So
talking about this week?
today, well, we're going to talk about some logistical things. I'm going to pull up my OneNote. Um, so we're going to talk about just travel in general and maybe
Oh,
some
man.
hints that we have learned on what to pack and stuff. So I know for me, I for the first time last year, I brought along an external battery to keep my phone charged and stuff like that.
Right.
And oh my goodness, what
Yep.
that was awesome because instead of hunting around for an outlet or trying to mooch watts off of somebody that I don't know, I just had it on my own, and I actually got to meet other people because it said, "Hey, by the way, can I just plug in while I'm sitting next to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, of
Yeah.
course."
Awesome.
And we would chat, and I would learn about where they're from. I met a guy who was from, I can't even pronounce the name, some country in Europe, some
Not India?
not India. It was some kind of stan, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're here. He's like, this country is amazing. I just can't even believe this Chicago is amazing. United States is wonderful. And I was like, yes, it
You sure?
is.
You sure it wasn't Borat?
No, definitely not Borat. Definitely
Okay.
not Borat. Anyway, so I think if you have one and or if you can s- swing getting one, that's definitely a good investment to bring. And you don't have to just use it at Ignite. You can obviously use it, but literally, like I had it in my pocket all day, just plugged into my phone, and it would be fine. And you're all for me, I'm always on the phone, like looking at the schedule, checking my emails, texting, and stuff like that. So that battery normally that lasts all day and into the evening, it just goes really quick.
Yeah, you're right, man. I've got an iPhone and it just drains my battery because I'm on it all the time. And when I'm at these conferences, I'm tweeting from the sessions and I'm tagging them so that people have information. And it becomes the way I do my notes is I take them through Twitter.
Oh,
and
cool.
and it's really cool because I use the hashtags, according to the different sessions. They all have their
Nice.
own unique IDs, and it's really really helpful. But I'm doing all my other social media stuff and posting pictures and whatnot and Facebooking and it just drains. So my favorite, I'm not endorsing any products here, but I'm a big fan of Anchor products,
Me too.
AMKR,
Yep.
and I think it's phenomenal. Their products just last. They have great, uh, what can I say,
Good
customer
quality.
service
Hmm.
and warranties, and they're pretty inexpensive actually.
Yeah, you
So
could.
what I generally do is I have a slightly bigger model that I carry with me, and then I usually have a smaller, thinner one that just to get me by for the night or something like that. Um, yeah, and these things last like, you could go for 2 days sometimes without recharging those things.
Absolutely.
So definitely, like in terms of packing, I would say yes, definitely pack, bring extra battery chargers, your cables, your lightning cables or your um, USB cables and things like that.
Hmm.
Those are definitely, important to have.
One
So,
thing. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
One thing that I learned is that uh, I went to Tech Ed Orlando in 2012. That was my first Microsoft conference before it became Ignite. And because it's in Orlando, I'm like thinking, oh man, that's like hot all year. So I just packed shorts, t-shirts, polo shirts. That's it. But Oh my gosh. Like you walk into that convention center and it is significantly cooler than it is on the outside and like instantly you're covered in goosebumps and I had nothing. And so I was actually wearing like three t-shirts at a time because I was freezing.
So you
I,
suggest you should bring like a little fleece or a little sweatshirt kind of a thing, right?
absolutely because
Uh,
usually that will um, come in very handy during those sessions and stuff like that.
so
Especially
in terms of packing, so I generally pack light. I try to, I don't overpack because I know I'm gonna get some clothing
yeah,
from the expo hall. All these vendors are giving out free T-shirts and multiple T-shirts and things like that. So you come back with more than you need. So
absolutely.
I generally obviously you want to do your due diligence with your underwear and your socks and your shorts and maybe a pair of jeans and for the cooler nights and stuff like that. But I think a couple of shirts, 2 or 3 shirts to start, and then you're just gonna gain everything from the convention center.
Yeah, definitely bring a really nice, comfortable pair of shoes.
Right.
My like Harjit and I don't get endorsements whatsoever from this, but
Oh,
my
we
favorite
wish we did.
I wish we did. That would be kind of
Yeah.
neat. Um,
Maybe we will.
well, maybe you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I like my Puma Benny Classics. They're just this very simple, but they are so comfortable. I mean, sometimes I just put them on just because, like, oh, this just feels so good on my feet.
I love my Columbia hikers. Oh my God.
Cool.
I can't find them anymore, and I managed to get a second pair from Amazon, but they're out of stock now, so
Gotcha.
I have to figure
Yeah,
something else out. But speaking of shoes, well, it's advisable that attendees actually break those shoes in way before they get to the convention center because that's going to be a lot of walking.
definitely.
So get used to it now. If you buy new shoes, use it now, break it in, so your feet can get used to it. You can avoid all the blisters. And did I say avoid? Oh God, my Indian accent. Anyways,
Yeah,
so
you're not
well,
allowed to bring your Segway or hoverboard in, so you'll be walking.
right, right, right.
But
Oh, and another good tip actually for those that are swag hunters, and there's tons of them like that.
mhm,
Is actually to for the newbies who haven't gone to a convention, a big conference before. Pack an empty, duffel bag or empty foldable bag in your suitcase because you're going to be going home with an extra one with all the swag and stuff. Especially with T-shirts and souvenirs and
yep,
that sort of thing, right?
definitely. I'm all swagged out, man.
Me too, man.
Like
I'm just
in Chicago, I like people were like, "You want this T-shirt?" I'm like,
yo.
"No." Can we scan your badge anyway? Okay. Like I really don't care. I don't want the swag. If there's
Scared of that,
something
but I don't care. Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
the first year I
Exactly.
brought home so many t-shirts and I'm like after that a few times this was just too silly. So I actually go to the vendors that I actually want to see. I'll look at the list ahead of time. So you can go to ignite.microsoft.com and see who's going to be there. I go in knowing, okay, these are the technologies that I need to be focusing on
Right.
this upcoming year. So who is going to be there at Ignite that is going to cover this stuff? And I'll actually seek
Sure.
them out instead of just going to every vendor and if you want, if you're the swag collector, absolutely go for it. I am not that. I am, I'm just like the less stuff I have, the happier I am.
I'm pretty picky with what I choose too. It's got to be good. It's got to be what the
Yes,
vendors that I actually care about and
exactly.
use and that sort of a thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's we hit it on the nail with with stuff like that
Yep.
with packing and so you're gonna talk about transportation.
Yeah. And so, once hopefully you know how to get on an airplane and get to Atlanta.
It's not
Um,
a flying carpet, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Make sure you know the process of getting through those TSA lines. They are keeping us safe. And so, don't be the guy that's taking 15 minutes to unpack and have 20 of those carts going through the thing. Try to keep it as efficient as possible and know ahead of time before you get there what you need to do.
Well,
Um,
recently on Facebook, there's some folks have been mentioning about getting your TSA pre-checked, getting qualified for that. And I actually have applied for it, and I've got a date coming up soon for the interview. So hopefully I can get it before I get to Ignite. But apparently, if you can get it, it saves you a lot of hassle in terms of not having to take off your shoes and not having to take out your laptops, those kind of things that can speed things up. And
Absolutely.
so if you can do it, do it. Right? I think it's about $80, $85 for
Yes.
the right.
But they have
So,
to do it now because it takes time to get approved or something like that,
right,
right?
right.
Okay.
And I know you were talking about, trying to speed things up, even if you don't have the TSA pre-check. What I generally do is that before I even hit the TSA line, I pull over to a bench or, some corner somewhere, and I start taking off, things like my watch
Hmm.
and my bangle and my necklace and my belt and, anything that's in my pocket. And I usually have like a little plastic bag, a little clear plastic bag in my backpack, and I just dump all that stuff in, and
Cool.
next I walk through with just my ID and my
Yep.
boarding pass, and it's simple.
Exactly. That's a great idea.
Yep.
I like it. So we're going to talk about travel out of the airport because there are several different options that you can do.
What's the
Uh,
airport we get to in Atlanta?
what is the name of the airport? Hartsfield?
Huntsville, I think, right?
Yeah,
And it's ATL is the airport code. All
that
right,
is correct. And last time I learned that it's the world's busiest airport.
it is, man.
That's
It is.
crazy. I never would. I would think it's JFK or something like that.
That's what I would have thought too.
Interesting.
JFK or Chicago or
Let's
even LA, but no, it's Atlanta.
Yeah, it's definitely huge because you got to take shuttles from the various, they
Term-
have that air train right in the, what is it called?
Within,
The terminals.
right,
Otherwise,
right,
you're walking for like a couple miles to get out to your terminal and stuff. So,
right. So tell me something. So here I am. I haven't been to Atlanta before. I took a plane and I landed at the airport. And I have my baggage, so I head down to the baggage claim. I get my bag, and now what? What do I do?
sure.
How do I
So,
get to my hotel?
I'm going to prefix this with I researched this for my own self, as I do every year. So, if
Right.
this doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, but you're an IT pro. So, hopefully, you've done some research and just verified everything yourself.
Good point. Good point.
So
Yep.
this is just what I found. Okay, so the first option that I found, and you can find all of this at the on the Hartsfield Airport website under the transportation
Right.
to and from the airport site. So there's this service. It's a private company called Super Shuttle, and what they'll do is you actually make a reservation ahead of time, and then you get an email with all the information and you tell them, what airline you're coming in, what time, what's your hotel, and stuff like that, and they'll give you they give you a price right in the webpage of how much it'll cost for you to use their service. So for my to going to my hotel, which is downtown, it would be $25 round trip for this service,
Oh,
which
round
is
trip. That's not
yeah.
bad.
So you go out to the the section of the airport where all the shuttles are waiting and you look for Super Shuttle, which they say they're constantly coming through. Um, and I'm sorry, before that, you actually go to the Super Shuttle counter and tell them, or you call them and say, I'm here. And then they say, okay, proceed, to this location and whatever. And then you get on the shuttle. Usually the driver will load the bags for you if you want, and it'll take you directly to your hotel. Here's the thing, there's going to be other people on the shuttle with you, and so they might go to several other hotels before they come to yours. So it might take longer than you expect to be. So it's not directly from the airport to your hotel, but it
Quick.
is to your hotel door. Um, so that's one option. I use that in Orlando, a different kind of company, a different company, but the same idea. I use that in Orlando and New Orleans, and it was awesome. I really liked it, and even the driver saying like, "Hey, if you're here for the week for Ignite or Tech Ed, these are the things to check out, and go to this restaurant while you're here and stuff like that." So make sure you tip the guy heavily or the gal heavily. So just because they're offering some extra information for you that they don't have to do.
Yeah.
So
And
that,
and at the same time, you actually get to meet people.
yes.
Right? You get and most of the time it's going to be other IT pros
Hmm.
that are coming in for the conference.
Yep.
So you get to meet them, you get to share your contact info, your Twitter accounts,
Yes.
and yeah, and you make some friendships right there.
Absolutely.
Right.
On the return, all you do is call them the day before, say, hey, this is when my flight leaves, and they'll give you the time that they're going to pick you up. Now, they are very careful in the time that they'll pick you up because they want to make sure you do not miss your flight. So don't be surprised if they say, okay, we're going to pick you up, and the time is like 3 hours before your flight is set to leave.
Right.
These people know the traffic, they know all the patterns, so don't be surprised like that. The convenience is that they pick you up at the hotel.
True. True.
Okay.
So you don't have to
Um,
go.
the second option is, and this service is downtown, Midtown, and Buckhead, all those hotels in that area.
Sweet.
Yes. The other option, of course, is MARTA, which is a train that goes directly out of the airport to various locations in the city of Atlanta. And as far as expense, it's definitely the cheapest. So it's actually a 250 fare plus $1 or $2 to get the card that holds the fare information and stuff like that, and then you can reload it through the week. And of course, that's not going to take you to your hotel doorstep, but it's going to take you pretty close. Probably the advantage of this is that you know that it probably won't be late unless there's some other situation going on,
True.
and it's really fast. You don't have to worry about traffic, things like that. So you can kind of look at the schedule and say, okay, if I leave at this time, I'll get to this destination about this time and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, from what I could figure out, I don't think the buses actually run to the airport. I could be wrong, but maybe somebody else can double check me on that. But I've actually used the MARTA train previously out of Atlanta, and it's awesome. They're very clean, they're fast, it's very easy to hop on, get off, and stuff like that. So that is the other option. I'm pulling up my OneNote again because I went to sleep. And then, of course, you can go to the taxi counter and select as taxi. And I did some research on this, and if you're going downtown, it's going to cost you about 50 bucks one way. So, of course, that will take you to the door, and you're going to be by yourself, which is fine. So that's the option for you as well. There are other options. You can get your own private limousine. You can get a rental car and stuff like that. But that is not typically stuff that we do that I have done. So I didn't really cover that.
That's
The thing with the taxis, which I always see this, and I wonder why people even use the taxi, and someone can educate me on this. There's always huge lines for taxis at the airport, and so you have to wait your turn. You can't just go out there and be like, "Yo, pick me up." You have to actually wait for your
yeah.
turn and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's Uber, if you know how to work that app.
The Uber works from the airport. I don't think they're allowed to pick up from there.
Oh, good to know.
So,
Don't use Uber. Don't use Uber at the airport.
don't you? Yeah.
Okay, so those are
So
the three. There's Super Shuttle.
Uber is good if you use it in the city itself to get from
Yes,
restaurants and things like that. So
definitely.
right.
Okay, so the airport is off limits for the Uber guys. So these are the options that are there, and these are actually from the airline. I'm sorry, the airport itself. So go to the website and check it out. It's supershuttle.com for that private shuttle. That will pick you up at the airport with a group of people and then take you to your hotel. Then it's marta.com, itsmarta.com. And then the actual airport site is atlanta-airport.com. You can't get
Excellent.
easier than that.
Excellent. Yeah. This
So,
is this is very good.
very good. So, I think I'm going to try the train personally.
I think that's what I'm gonna try too.
So, because you can, I don't know, it's just, I like to kind of, you get acclimated to the weather a lot quicker, and you kind of get to see some parts of Atlanta, like, okay, I'm passing this area and stuff like that. So I did
The
that in Chicago.
taxi
It
might
was
be an
fun.
option for those that are traveling in a group. So some companies are sending their staff,
Yes,
together. They're flying in together. So two or three of them might want to travel together. So it might be a cheaper option that way. But
absolutely. So I'm actually impressed with the options that are available out of
yeah,
Atlanta. I think it's really cool that there's a host of different things that you can do, because in New York it gets very weird when you have to figure out how to get out of New York airports. Me personally, it's just like, what can you do? I always get picked up, but still, if I needed to take public transportation out, it gets very, very, very weird. So
yeah, yeah. So
anyway,
within Atlanta itself. So once you're in Atlanta, once you're in a downtown area, you've checked in, in the next few days or whatever. Your options are to use MATA, which is their train system, to get to shopping and restaurants or things like that. And then Uber is
Hmm.
another option, I guess, right?
Yep, one of my friends actually who lives in Atlanta highly recommended Uber. She
Okay.
said that a lot of people actually use that to get to different places. That seems so. She says it's very prevalent. It's very easy to get a vehicle to you quickly and stuff like that.
All
So
right.
that was her recommendation. And one thing that's interesting, if you're browsing the MARTA website, on certain stations, they actually have videos of a person giving you a tour of the train station. So
Oh my God.
yeah, it's pretty neat. I went to the Phillips Arena and Georgia World Congress Center station, and they have a video like, okay, this is where you exit. Here's the arena. Here's the GWCC. All this different stuff. So that was kind of neat. So if you decide you were going to take the train to to the convention center every day, you might want to check out that video and
Awesome.
see how to get from where to where, things like that.
This is great info. Exactly.
Sweet.
So what
So
else?
that's all I have for transportation.
Oh,
Be smart, I guess. Be aware. Make sure you always have your bag with you and stuff
so
like
I'm
that.
I'm hearing a lot of like chatter online and Facebook and Twitter and things like that about how unsafe Atlanta is and to watch out where you go because there's some I don't think it's any different than any other big city,
Hmm.
uh, but I think word of advice is that travel together, take care of each other.
Definitely.
Don't be obvious with your cell phones and your wallets and things like that. And I think you should be all right.
Absolutely.
You know,
Stay off the Pokemon.
yeah, stay off the Pokemon. Exactly. Don't poke. No poking for you.
No Pokemon.
So, oh, hey, did you do you have an iPhone?
I used to.
Okay. Well, I was going to tell you if you have one, you better get the uh,
Oh, yeah.
security update that went out yesterday, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, that was
Very interesting read.
yeah.
Actually, I mean, I did switch to Android several months ago. I got a Samsung S7 Edge, and I still use my iPhone for all my podcasts and music and stuff like that. So I did apply this update. But reading through this, I was just completely blown away at what was capable through this exploit. And I give kudos to Apple for fixing it very quickly. But what blew my mind even more is that in order to use this exploit, you could actually buy the software from this company
Oh my God.
and and use it against somebody. Now the company did say within this article that like we only sell it to governments and stuff like that. Well, that doesn't make me feel any better. Um, yeah, it's a definitely a good read, and I'm surprised that it's taken this long for someone to recognize this exploit. Because if I don't misunderstand what it was communicating in this article, it's a kind of an old exploit that's been around for a while.
Apparently, it's a spyware that
Yeah. Okay.
was created by an Israeli company, and they were actually tracking and spying on journalists and things like that. From what I read, like their contact information, their conversations, and their photos and things like that. So whatever that is, but anyways, kudos to Apple for
Yep.
quickly patching it, and it was highly hyped yesterday.
Yes.
You know, so
I,
that's good.
I don't know about you, but I mean, for about 2 years now, I'm very wary of what services are running on my phone, and like I have location turned off a significant amount of time. And things like that, just because I don't want to take a picture and have it tagged and then somebody create a pattern of like, oh, prayer is at this coffee shop every time every day. I can mug him then.
The
You know,
geolocation stuff, right?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like, holy moly, what a crazy world we're living in.
So
Like,
me knowing where you are is
I'll turn it on when I need it, and so
well, I need
that's,
to know where you are, my friend.
oh, like with the find me functions and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
kind of hard now that I have an Android.
Right, right.
But
Well, we use that. We use the find me function in my family a lot,
do you?
and it's yeah, it's very very useful.
That's cool.
We know like okay, so and so is coming back from work, or where are they at? So like my daughter when she's in sports and she travels to another school for her games and stuff like that, and she's on the bus back. I can track her and see is she on the way back? When do I leave my house to go pick her up from the school? That sort of a thing. So it's pretty, if it's used well, it works. It
That's
does the
cool.
job. Yeah.
Cool.
So what was the other big news this week? What happened on Wednesday, my friend?
Oh, did you get your tickets?
Yeah, baby.
Crew meet and greet?
Well, I kind of helped organize it, right? So
Oh, that's right.
right. So, anyways, we sold out. The crew tickets are just sold out in just matter of minutes. People were just waiting. We launched it at 12 p.m. on Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, and people just were just waiting, doing the F5s and whatnot, and it was incredible to watch it behind the scenes to see how fast the tickets were flying. And anyway, so those that didn't get tickets, there's a wait list, and it's a pretty good size. But from what I can tell that generally those that are on the wait list they generally get in. So don't lose hope, and we'll see you at the crew meet and greet on Sunday.
Cool. I was put on the wait list, I think twice previously, New
Yeah,
Orleans and then Houston. And yeah, eventually, because I
yeah,
got the tickets so late, I didn't realize how quickly they go.
yeah,
And so, you know, uh, maybe a week or two later, all of a sudden I got an email saying, "Hey, by the way, you have a ticket,"
yeah.
things like that. So I'm like, "Oh, wow, very cool." So it's a fun thing to be at, but don't freak out if you didn't get a ticket. I'm sure you're going to get one.
Right.
But
And you know what? I gotta say this though. We got to thank our sponsors, New Horizons and Double Take,
yep,
um, and the folks such as Pat, Charles, Michael Bender, who helped put this together. So, and we're a big, happy community and great friends, and it's going to be a good time.
absolutely. Definitely a shout out to our sponsors, New Horizons, still wearing your shirt,
Hey, that's cool, man.
and Double Take. They've been around since the beginning.
Yeah, they have been.
So that's I'm
And
very
I'm sure
honored
I'm
that they.
sure we'll be doing our annual crew photo that we do, and usually it's done at the New Horizons booth, and I don't have the timelines for it yet, but it should happen at some point.
Yep.
And the only issue that happens year after year is that the group is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's it's pretty challenging actually to try to cram everybody in a certain location in a small little spot, but we make it work though.
Yeah. I
So
remember Mike taking several pictures, and I think he said he stitched them all together somehow,
right,
something
Mike
like that.
Mike McGaddy.
That's right.
Right.
Cool.
So, anyways, so what else we got? Hey, did you notice something?
Dude, Minions. Is that a new
Hey,
shirt?
I'm all about the minions, my friend.
Sweet. Speaking of Minions, where's your little friend Minionjit?
Here's Minion Jet.
Is he
There's
coming to Ignite?
He's gonna be that Ignite, and hopefully he'll get a badge because he needs to get in.
Oh man.
Yeah, normally he does though.
What?
He gets a pass to get in. He has to.
Yeah,
So Me Ninja will be there.
that's cool.
And hey, by the way, he's got his own Twitter handle
Does he really?
at MinionJit.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Some of those pictures concern me about Minionjit because he's on the middle of the road, and it's like,
Uh,
like how quickly can that little guy move?
he's
But
crazy like
I've
that.
seen the movies; they move pretty quick.
He is pretty quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. And he loves spicy stuff. He's technically he's Indian.
Oh,
Yeah, MinionJit is Indian.
had no
So,
idea.
yeah.
That's crazy. Minionjit is Indian. That just completely blew my mind. Wow.
So what are we gonna do? So, anyways, I think we've covered quite a bit. So, um, for for the upcoming shows, I guess we'll talk about places to eat, the hole in the ground
Hmm.
bars and food joints
I've
and
got people on the ground
yeah,
working on that.
that's great. So I think that's what we'll cover probably next, and anything else that our viewers want us to cover, right, or talk about.
Yes.
Well,
Please
technically, we can talk about anything.
please subscribe and comment.
Yeah, and uh, I'm not sure if they want us to do our Indian accents, but we can't really hold it very long. So
The thing with the Indian accent,
talk to me
we
about.
can only do it for so long. You know, originally when I was born, I was doing the Indian accent, but upon going to kindergarten and first grade, the Indian accent went away.
Went away.
Went, yeah, it's just like goodbye. And so
Uh,
to continuously do that through a whole show, it's pretty hard. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
But
cool.
we
I
can
think we
try.
got everything covered that we needed to cover for this time.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's
Sweet.
good. It's good to see you again.
Likewise, dude.
So I'm Harjit. You'll find me on Twitter at sign HOORGE. That's Hooch.
I am Prayer. Yes, my name is really Prayer. And you spell it just like that, Prayer. And my Twitter handle is IT Prayer because you need a prayer in IT. But good seeing y'all.
Cheers.
Later, dude.
Until next time.
Later, man.